Good morning and welcome to Gospel Bytes, where we take a bite of the Gospel for the day. Today is the 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time, July 28th. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, O Lord. This is taken from John chapter 6, verses 1 to 15. Jesus went across the Sea of Galilee. A large crowd followed him because they saw the signs he was performing on the sick. Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat down with his disciples. The Jewish feast of Passover was near. When Jesus raised his eyes and saw that a large crowd was coming to him, he said to Philip, "Where can we buy enough food for them to eat?" He said this to test him, because he himself knew what he was going to do. Philip answered him, 200 days' wages worth of food would not be enough for each of them to have a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, the brother of Simon Peter, said to him, "There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good are these for so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people recline." Now there was a great deal of grass in that place. So the men reclined, about 5,000 in number. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed them to those who were reclining, and also as much of the fish as they wanted. When they had had their fill, he said to his disciples, "Gather the fragments left over, so that nothing will be wasted." So they collected them and filled 12 wicker baskets with fragments from the 5 barley loaves that had been more than they could eat. When the people saw the sign he had done, they said, "This is truly the prophet, the one who is to come into the world." Since Jesus knew that they were going to come and carry him off to make him king, he withdrew again to the mountain alone. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. We hear today the miracle of the multiplication of the loaves and the fish. So look at why people were following Jesus. It said there, a large crowd followed him because they saw the signs he was performing on the sick. He was curing the sick. And someone told me, if you want to see money in your ministry, you have to have healing. And I've seen that in televangelists and many Protestant circles, and sometimes even Catholic circles. When there is healing, there's always people flocking, because I think we are all physically ill. We're all wanting some healing in one form or another. But is that the reason why Jesus came? To heal the body? I've said before that what Jesus did with the body, he wanted to do with the soul. Everything that Jesus did with the body, he wanted to do with the soul. He cured the deaf because he wants to show us that he wants to heal our spiritual hardness of heart, our deafness. Jesus gave sight to the blind because he wants us to see also the presence of God in our lives. He cleansed the leper because he wanted to cleanse our soul of sin. He forgave the sins of the paralyzed because he wants to make us get up and be free from all the things that are making us paralyzed, making us slaves to sin. Now, so aside from healing, here we also hear that Jesus wanted to feed the crowd. And what was the solution that they were suggesting when they realized there were so many people? What did Philip say? He said 200 days' wages worth of food would not be enough. his solution to our hunger is work. Oh, I have to work so hard. I have to go to another country to work so that I can give all the things that my family wants and needs. So, for some people, the solution to their problems is work. I have to look after myself because nobody's going to look after me. Well, Jesus is saying, no, I'm going to look after you. See, if it's just you only have a few fish and a few loaves, you cannot look after yourself. In the same way, some people think that if I work hard enough, if I even neglect my family, if I just, uh, you know, um, how do you say that? Just to follow everything that my boss would say, you know, go on so much overtime and then do 3 or 4 jobs, I can look after myself. Imagine if Jesus decides, okay, today you're going to have cancer, today you're going to have this injury, you cannot work anymore. Do you think even our own hard work could help us? We forget that all the things that we have, everything that we accomplish comes from the Lord. There's so many people who are more hardworking than us, who deserve much more than what we are receiving, but they don't get it. Everything that we have is a gift. It's not just because we worked hard for it. That's just part of it. That's just the little thing that we contributed. That's just a few fish and few loaves. But it's Jesus who makes it possible. A lot of people forget that. They think that, oh, I don't need to go to Mass because I have to work. Well, you put so much trust in your work. And again, it was Jesus who fed this impossible number of crowd. In the same way, God is going to look after our needs. We just need to put our trust in Him. We have to chip in and do our work, but no matter how much work we put in, everything is still a gift from God. And in the spiritual sense, Jesus is saying, I'm going to look after your physical needs. But again, what He wants to do with the body, He wants to do with the soul. I also want to look after your spiritual hunger. Your hunger for love, your hunger for understanding, your hunger for self-esteem, your hunger for importance, your hunger for appreciation, your hunger for affirmation. I am here. That's why Jesus said, I am the bread of life. I am present. You're never alone because Jesus in the Eucharist is present. These are all languages of the Mass. Jesus took, he gave thanks, and he distributed. It's a reference to the Eucharist. That God doesn't just want to give us our material needs, He wants to give us our spiritual need. And what is our spiritual hunger? What is the greatest thing that we need? God. We're hungry for God. That's why at Mass He's saying, this is me, this is my body, this is my blood. I am present. You're no longer to feel alone. You'll never feel that you have to beg for love anymore. It's me. I am present. That's why the Mass cannot be symbolic because it means that God is here. I'm all that you need. I'm all that your soul is looking for. And I'm present. I am here. That's why the real presence is very important to understand in the Mass. So when we come to Mass today, realize this is Jesus who is saying, you're just hungry for me. You know, anything, people are living immoral lives simply because they're hungry for God. We are filling up our minds with things because we're bored. We're looking for meaning in life. And Jesus is saying, I am here. I'm the one you're looking for. So before we go and look for something else, put your cell phones down, put your um, everything that you're carrying, and go to Jesus. Listen when He says, I am here. I am present for you. I'm Father Jerry Sembrano for another edition of Gospel Bytes. God bless you. Have a nice day.